So for the real estate agents out there, hang in there right now, build your database, build your sphere of influence, feed that database every single day, build a very systematic communication plan that makes sure you're top of mind. Of course, we're going to use social media for that. Be the local real estate expert of choice. Understand what's happening more than anybody else, because again, the news will get it wrong and they'll sell it negative. That's the super secret right now.
What are some actionable items that you took on early in your career that got you to be at this place in your business?
Fail a lot. Even as late as today, looking for the conference here, we didn't know where it was, and we looked in every room that was open. Literally A/B testing all the time. It's, this industry is riddled with classes and courses to teach you how I did it. And you and I might be different, right? And so we all have to find our own niche. We all have to be great at being us. I've often said I never did a billboard in real estate because no one was looking at my face 30 foot by 40 feet, right? I was great at open houses, Darnell. So I loved open houses, but other people couldn't do them. And I was shocked at that. But I would tell you, fail forward, be you, be authentic, build a huge sphere of influence, and be a local real estate economist of choice. I know it's a long answer to a short question. I knew my numbers better than anybody in the market.
So you'd say like just being aware, being analytical, taking in consideration things, inventory on things that are happening. Or
being the truth of what's actually happening in your local community, because real estate is such a local business, and yet our clients are bombarded with news, and it's not likely to be positive because it doesn't sell, right? About national patterns, national statistics, that sort of thing. And it doesn't matter. The analogy we always use is if the average temperature in the United States today was 60 degrees, it would not tell me how to dress in Buffalo, New York.
Right.
So I need to understand what's happening in my local market, how it impacts me, and I need to understand that. And as long as the professional fiduciary agent, which I believe is our calling, as long as we are the ones who understand what's happening, days on market, we understand the taxes in each county, the different school districts, all those things, then we can be a huge advocate for our local community that you won't find on Zillow.
My question for you, Mark, would be, what do you think agents need to focus on right now to make it to the next 1 to 2 years? Obviously, the market conditions are, a little fascinating right now with interest rates and homeowners not wanting to list their home. What do agents need to do to survive?
I think the one thing we have to understand, and I can give you all the stats and show you all the flip charts and all those good things where you can trust me on this. We've gone from 6.1 million houses sold in the United States in 2021 to maybe 4 million this year. We'll be maybe right below 4 million this year. That's a 33% decline in units sold over a 24-month period. That is dramatic. And we can talk about why and Fed raising rates and doing all those things. The 4 million people who bought, you need to understand the demographics that break up those 4 million people. So what does that mean? That means that 40% of those people paid cash to buy that house because of what's happening with interest rates. That means understanding what vendors are also low on units and paid per transaction so that they can be a partner of yours in getting more business. It means understanding those 4 million people are moving for reasons not related to interest rates. And I don't know about y'all, but I'm married to my soulmate, and I did not base my decision to get married based on interest rates. So getting married, getting divorced, having children, becoming empty nesters, unfortunately, death of loved ones, that sort of thing, job loss, job gain. These are things that cause people to move no matter what is happening socioeconomically. So from that perspective, you've got to find, if there's one thing you focus on, you have to find the people who are motivated to move now.
Question. So Mark, what do I need to do, or any agent need to do to continue to grow as a leader?
That's so good. Study and learn and fail. We tend to live in a society that judges harshly or cancels failure. And I am so fortunate to be 49 years old, and I hit 50. And having gone through my kind of upbringing in this business 20 something years ago, because I'm not sure that the failures I had at those days would have been embraced the way they are today. The reason I love this company is we believe in failing our way forward and failing quickly. Nothing big and bad, but you've got to take action to learn. And so I think, from that perspective, again, I'll go back to, if you are the person who's building a strong sphere of influence and you're a great fiduciary and you care about your clients, and everybody can say that they do, but I mean, really study the market, really understand how to create more relationships and be that guide. And I think that there's a lot of people who thought that the internet would just wipe out the need for a real estate agent. And I think they associated that with what happened in the travel industry, right? And you can look at all the studies, and Expedia comes along, and people book their own travel. And suddenly, there's not a lot of, there's still travel agents, by the way. There's still professional travel agents
I
do
use
a
one.
great job. I do too. And so, but their usage has dropped 98%, right? Realtors, I believe, are a fiduciary for their clients. They have to understand how to negotiate. And this market right now, the difference is we've left a speed-based market, meaning if you're in front of somebody who's ready to buy or sell or invest in real estate, you're likely going to be the agent they pick. And today you need to be a skills-based agent. You need to understand, when you sell a house, you're selling it 4 times. You're selling to the inspector, you're selling to the appraiser, selling it to other real estate agents, and then the end consumer. You're not just putting it on the market on Friday, 27 offers on Saturday, close on Monday, like we unfortunately have lived through.
I miss those days for sure.
They're so far gone.
Yeah.
We're so gone.
Well,
Gone.
this is also where we're at the point in our businesses now that with this market, people are going to be exiting the business. They just simply aren't going to be able to just miraculously sell like they have in the past 1 to 3
Almost
years.
50% of the agents in this industry have sold 0 houses through the end of August. Almost half. And so the stat at the end of July was 92% of agents had not sold more than 4 houses year to date. And so this is a challenge. That's why I go back to speed-based market means anyone can sell a house, right? And that kind of reduces the value of the fiduciary. Today, you need a skilled expert to help you buy and sell real estate.
It's so true. And it's so true how you can have such a terrible experience just based on someone not having the knowledge and the skill. We're all subcontractor 1099, so we all come from different places, but it's totally different experience for the same activity. I can go now if you want.
Yeah, go for it.
Okay, so you've had multiple different roles throughout your experience in real estate and specifically with Keller Williams. Is there one role that you think has prepared you the most for the job that you have now?
Team leader, for sure. I often say the team leader is the best job on the planet if you do it right, and it's the worst job on the planet if you do it wrong. And so I spend a lot of my time and resources, and the classes that I write are how to make sure you're doing the job the right way. Being a leader, caring about others. I became a team leader. Can I tell you a quick story?
Yeah.
Okay. So I became one of the top agents in the country, and I was a listing agent. I knew my numbers. I didn't have a lot of patience. I wasn't a great buyer's agent, but I was great at the numbers, great at staging homes, great at understanding what would sell, great at marketing those homes to other agents and that sort of thing. And what I found was I ended up in these 30-day relationships. And I prided myself on getting more money in less amount of time, less hassle. And so I thought that was what my job was. I was walking out of the office one day, and the owner of my office came over and said, "Mark, will you teach a class?" Because the instructor didn't show up. And I said, "Well, I'm on my way to a listing appointment." And I thought, you know what? No, I'll teach the class. And I canceled my listing appointment that at the time I would have made something like $5,000 on a commission to go teach a class for free. And I realized in that moment, I kind of got a problem. Like I care more about building long-term relationships and winning through other people than I do listing another house. And I love listing houses, but being a team leader and watching people's lives change, I can now count in the hundreds people who I've seen the systems and models of this company change their lives, make them wealthy. And it's funny that they would give me credit. I was just a guide pointing them to the things that we all know to do and aren't doing. But I've seen this company change so many people's lives that I love the team leader role. And honestly, the president role of this company it's just the team leader of the country, right? Gary's the OP, I'm the team leader, and I still train, I still recruit. I'm with agents every single day. I'm with market center leaders every single day. I'm doing things like this every single day. I want to hang out with people who are actually doing the work. I don't do great in meetings for meeting's sake.
Yeah.
I want to hang out with people who actually work.
Yeah. I agree on that.
Okay, I have a question for you.
Okay.
What are your success habits, Mark? Like whether that's daily, weekly, monthly.
How deep do you want me to get? How transparent do you want me to be?
Extremely transparent.
Okay.
I love transparency.
Okay, so there's several things I had to clean up as I wanted to become better, and it's fascinating. I just saw a John Mayer reel on this, which is so random because I'm neither a John. I'm sure he's fine. Not necessarily a John Mayer fan, and I'm not really on social media much. And I happened to stumble across this thing, and so my wife and I made the cognizant decision several years ago that we were going to stop drinking, slow down, all the habits that are going to hurt our health. So, very recently we've gotten into making sure our health comes first, and it's exercise, it's all those things, because at some point you have to understand that, and back to John Mayer, he said this thing, he said, how much of my potential do I want to reach with my life? Like, do I want to reach 60% and then just go have fun 40% of the time? Like, and that's okay, by the way, but what do I want out of my life? And I decided early on, I want 100%. I do not want to put one thing, and this is not a judgment, by the way, and I have had many of broken bread or cocktails with somebody, not a judgment at all. For me, I found it was getting in the way of where I wanted to go. And so I think, that's sugar is another example of that. Like, there's things that we have decided to forego so that we could focus on our health. And we lost a lot of weight along the way, which is kind of a nice byproduct. But if you want to have the energy it takes to be the best you can be, you got to really take care of yourself. And what I didn't realize when I was kind of coming up into my mid-20s is I thought I'd be invincible forever, and you're not, right? And so I think those habits, I think getting up really early every morning. I was up at 4:00 this morning. That's not normal, but if I'm usually in the office. Jason Abrams will beat me to the office every now and then. Sajid will most of the time. Sajid will beat me to the office. Our COO.
He's up at like 3.
Almost every day. He's weird.
Yeah.
So let's just get out there. He's a robot, and he's the best to ever do it.
Yeah.
But all of us pride ourselves on getting to the office early, making sure the day is set up right, and we go all day long. We go hard all day long, and we love it's our sport. And so I would say get your morning right is a huge piece. Get your health right is a huge piece. I happen to be a faith-based person, so I might look to scripture for something I'm dealing with. I might look to, I read a lot. And when I say read, Jason Abrams will correct that and say, you mean you listen to books? I do. I listen to books a lot because I travel so much. And I'm just constantly pouring into, I want to get better. How do I get better? And back to the number one way to get better is take action. Don't be afraid. Whatever you want to accomplish, go and screw it up. And I have failed at everything I've ever done in this company.
What's the burnout prevention on that with going at it all day like that?
It's funny. It's a great question, number one. Number two is if you're always striving to be the best that you can be and you have people around you who support you and embrace you and you're not afraid to take action, it's hard you almost get energy from it.
Right.
And there will be days where it's 16, 17 hours. And, I'm not a fan of the hustle culture, by the way. I don't believe in that. And I don't do it because of that. But I find that we get so much done and we have so much at stake. And we're in a season right now. We've got industry-wide issues. And we've got the market. And we've got different things, right? 1 in 5 transactions in the United States runs through one of our offices. So when you think about how big we are as a company, there's always someone else you can help, and you have to turn it off. It was the same as a real estate agent. I sold 245 houses in 2008 when that was a lot, but you could always sell more.
It's still a lot.
Well, from at the time, it was like number 67 in the country.
Yeah.
Today, I don't know if it would crack the top 1,000, but that was a lot, right? And I blame Gary Keller for all that success, by the way. He taught us all how to do it, right?
Yeah.
But I think when I look back on all those times, there's always another house you can sell. Then I'd run an office. There's always another agent you can help. And then I look at running this whole company. There's always someone else you can pour into. And so you got to put some guardrails there. I will tell you that I'm very good about protecting my date night time with my wife, and we do something every single night. Usually by 7 o'clock, it's just her and I. We've had dinner with our 15-year-old, hopefully most of the time, and then it's just my wife and I from 7 till bedtime, and that is our time every single day. And then I protect our Sundays. Like, you cannot get a hold of me on Sundays. I will text with Gary Keller and Jason Abrams and maybe Sajik, and that's about it. Yeah.
I love that.
That's pretty interesting that you mentioned the hustle culture, because I
Yeah.
made a post today about the hustle culture being toxic, but also I feel like the excuse culture that we live in today too is probably even worse
Oh
than
my
that.
gosh, yes.
You know, people constantly have excuses and whatnot.
I don't want to be the old guy that's get off my lawn guy, but
Yeah.
but sometimes I am. And what drives me crazy about the social media is there's so many fake it till you make it bad advice on it that you get lost and you don't know. Like, who wouldn't want a new Rolex and a Lamborghini and all the things? But I can tell you, as the old man in the room, that's none of that is how you get it. Buying tax liens on the courthouse steps and follow my 499, class to do so is
Yep.
not the way that's going to happen. How do I know? I've tried all of those. I've failed at all those things, right? So it's about having a balanced life. It's about surviving. You hustle like that for a certain amount of time, and you see people who kind of hit a wall. You
Yeah.
talk about burnout. They hit a wall in their mid 40s and they're done, right? And so you don't want to be. You want to love what you do. You want to whistle to work. You want to have fun. You want it to inspire you, and that's, unfortunately for me, that's the life I get to live in this company.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So if you had a real estate crystal ball,
Yes,
what would it say?
we're at the bottom. We are at the bottom in terms of units. We are not at the bottom in terms of sales prices. So for the real estate agents out there, hang in there right now. Build your database, build your sphere of influence, feed that database every single day, build a very systematic communication plan that makes sure you're top of mind. Of course, we're going to use social media for that. Be the local real estate expert of choice. Understand what's happening more than anybody else, because again, the news will get it wrong and they'll sell it negative. I think that's the super secret right now.
Sweet. I don't want to take too much more of your time.
No, you're fine.
But Will, I
Do you wanna
know
hop in
that
at
you
all?
always have great questions, and I always love seeing you talk. I would love for you to ask Mark some
I
questions.
appreciate that. I'm just going to try to create a frame.
I also can hop out because my phone's dead. So everything's off the cuff at this point.
I do have one last question,
Okay.
or maybe I should wait. What is one question that you wish people would ask you on events like this, panels or whatnot, that you wish they did?
It's such a great question. I think the one question I wish people would ask me is why. Why do you do what you do? And the simple, cheesy answer is to change lives with this company. This company has changed lives. We have a vision by 2025 to have 100,000 millionaires in this company. To put that in context, Microsoft's created 14,000. And we can change the world one agent at a time here, which automatically makes them a better fiduciary for their client base. And I believe we can change the world with this company. We are on a bigger mission than selling 1 in 5 houses in this industry. And that mission is to make the world a better place.
Awesome. Thank you.
I know it sounds
What a
cheesy, but-
fabulous answer.
No, I mean that kind of ties into my question, which is culture,
Okay.
like the culture of the company,
Yeah.
and how that's driven the success not only going forward, but in the past, especially given 2008, 2009,
Yeah.
and the cycle. How important do you think or know culture to be when it comes to driving the success, especially in a time like now, where I feel a lot of people are being, they're being fed negative things.
Yeah.
And if they're not being fed negative things, there's like a false sense of positivity that no one's kind of like facing the reality of. So how do you think culture plays a dynamic in that?
It's a great question. I think right now is about survival. If you're not already set with your systems and models and technology and people and your sphere of influence and your database and all that stuff, you got to survive right now. What does that mean? That means you might be bartending at night to pay your bills so that you can keep building the database. The example I would give you is, most people will go to college for 4 years and pay the college to go there and not expect to make money while they do that. Then they'll get into this business and expect to get rich in 6 months.
Right.
So what if you spent 4 years building a database, building the foundation, putting the systems models in place, building your sphere of influence and your social media presence? What if that were what you spent your 4 years on? Not that you shouldn't go to college, don't get me wrong, but it's just a mindset, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
But you asked a great question. The culture is what keeps us together. You know, we have this Keller personality assessment.
Yeah.
And most people, I had this conversation with my own aunt, and I said, you know, you really ought to look at real estate. She was in between jobs, and I said, you ought to look at real estate. And she goes, oh, I'm not a salesperson. And I said, you realize we have 44 different roles in our company. 2 of them are real estate agent, right? So when you think about it, it's team and individual agent, right? So there are so many different opportunities in the space that provide on-the-job training. And, you know, no matter wherever you are today, doesn't mean that's where you're going to be 5 years from now, 10 years from now.
Yeah.
But if you get into this company, you will build a foundation to go anywhere you want to go. And the reason the culture is so important is it retains you long enough to build the systems and models to survive so that you can make a living doing this. Because so many people don't. 85% of the agents who get in this business are out in 18 months.
Yeah, and
So
that's
that's
a
a-
normal market.
That's a normal market.
Right.
So our culture is very unique. We believe in God, family, then business. We believe in our mission, vision, value, belief, and perspectives is something that we talk about in every class we teach. We have 6 personal perspectives. We have a Y4C2Ts and all these crazy acronyms that people are like, what is he saying right now? But
Colorisms.
internally, it's a code, right? It's how we treat each other. We're going to treat each other win-win or no deal. We're going to have integrity. We're going to do the right thing. Customers are always going to come first.
Yep.
Curiosity rate. I can go through all the Y4C2Ts.
No, I mean you can tell in the conviction of the way you
Yeah.
say it. You know?
I laugh because your question was culture based, and obviously the one that's not KWS. If
Yeah.
that's
I asked that because my company is very, very culture based in the sense that the company culture is the epicenter of what drives the tenet of the people, right? And it's all people based.
Yep.
It's all customers and it's employees but it's all people based.
Yeah.
And you know, just listening to you guys earlier behind the scenes, a lot of people put this like hustle culture where it's like I.
Right.
But where is the I if it's not we, and where's the we if it's not us, and where's the us if it's not, you know, all? And I think that dynamic is being lost in the fact that, you know, maybe you have to humble yourself right now and go back to bartending or back to waitressing or waitering, because that's just the nature of the business and it's cyclical in that way, you know. And I just had this conversation with my wife where it's like, man, you know, things are tough. Like I just had conversations with my buddies and people are not closing deals and not, you know, and that's very humbling because we just bounced off of 2 years ago. You know, a lot of people felt like they were invincible,
Right.
you know.
Yep.
And there was a crazy stat: 179 loan officers registered in the United States in 2021, and now there's only 99,000, I believe it is. And don't quote me on that, but I believe it's significantly less.
Yeah.
You know, from that standpoint, you look at what's going on in the business, and it's hard not to feel sorry for people in one dynamic, but in the same dynamic, you have to also feel a sense of urgency, right? And that's what you're tying into is that sense of urgency. And I think that's a really important factor.
I think there's 1.56 million realtors in the United States right now, or I should better said, members of NAR, National Association of Realtors. And again, half of them haven't sold a house year to date. So there will be a washing out of people who aren't selling houses. It's a natural thing in our business. It's a very low barrier to get in. And so it attracts a lot of people who don't realize it's actually building a business. You actually have to work. Right? Yeah. It's not, where are my leads? And this looks like an HGTV show. And 22 minutes later, I get a $20,000 check.
Yeah, you mean I'm not gonna make a ton of money just because I'm licensed and I post on social media?
That's exactly
I'm a realtor.
right. You actually have to.
Job in the world.
Do you think they'll ever change the entry level?
You know, I don't. I actually made it easier. I think I took a lot of heat for this, and the reason I did it, we have been on a mission to get to parity with social equity in our company. And this is a big U-turn, but it ties in, and that is our industry doesn't look like our population. And my mission at this company is to help this company lead the way, because we are the number one company in the world. We have to lead the way in the number of Black realtors and Hispanic realtors, and just go down the list, right? We need to, our industry needs to look like our population. Why? Because real estate is a local business. People do business with people they know, they like, they trust, and that they're around. And in an industry, and that includes your industry, and right, that has predominantly been white, 54 and female has been the average for so long. Our goal is to help our local community from the inside out. And how you do that is you help people get into the business. So what I'm very proud about is we started the largest online real estate school in the world, and we stood it up in 90 days. And we partnered with Kaplan, and we have I think we're in 92% of the states that Keller Williams offices are in, which is roughly all of them, right? So we're in 92% of the country, and the great thing is that we have more than half of the applicants who come through that, which is an extremely reduced, if not no cost, real estate school experience to get licensed, is from a minority community. So from that perspective, we've lowered the barrier even more, and I couldn't be happier for it, because it might save you $400, $600, $1,200, whatever the case is, but that's enough to get people started and to at least have a shot at doing this. Now, will that lead to them being massively successful? No, I expect them to have the same, stats and everything else.
It's like 1 in 10 make it out.
It's a hard business. Yeah, 1 in 10, right? Yeah. So it's a hard business. However, that ties back to our culture of, if we truly believe we're fiduciaries and we want to help, and this is, I could ramble all day on why it is that we need to care about more people doing more deals. Yeah. And I won't go off on a tangent on third-party lead aggregators, like, I call them business interceptors. Yeah. Because, and no offense, they've built great businesses, but if you go online and look at a house online on someone's site, those sites are not creating new transactions. They're intercepting them, and then they're charging the agents and the loan officers for that business. So they're just intercepting your client. And by the way, I'm an accountable guy. We've done this to ourselves. As realtors, if we had 67 people in our database, just 67, and we talked to them or sent them some communication, told them what was going on in the market once a week, there would be no online search aggregators in real estate. Yeah. And we don't do it, and that's why they are there.
And they're more advertising aggregators than they are anything else, because they tie into the MLS, which, if there was no MLS, for lack of better words, there would be no real search aggregator. It would it would be an advertising aggregator. Yep. And that's the interesting thing about it. Well, I know as far as time is concerned, how are we doing? It's 4:40.
It's 4:40. We probably have to get Mark down there. Yeah. Do you have any more questions for Mark?
I'll give you 5 more minutes, whatever you want.
Do you have any more questions for Mark?
I don't know if I do. I was just going to say that the K-score conversation is something that I have at minimally once a week with someone.
I love it.
Yeah. Cool. I have.
It's an awesome. I mean, you would say like entry level is like $500 to get started, but it's amazing. It's surprising how much that could help though.
It can. It's more, because then you have to do fingerprints, you got to do the application fee. Yeah. So you're like,
take your test. Yeah.
Yep. And then most people don't pass the first time. So.
But here's the crazy thing that people don't understand. And if I was teaching an agent a hack to get more business right now, or a loan officer, I'd partner with an agent, I would tell you we've had 1.6 million people go to that website. So out of that 1.6 million, 15,000, if we go from top to bottom of funnel, 15,000 have got their license and joined our company. And 72.
It's not looking for us.
Okay, good. You never know. I don't know. It might be Zillow. So we have like 72,000 people enrolled, start in school, 15,000 finish online. Some of them went in person, some of them stopped and didn't write. But what people don't realize about that, some people look at that and they go, man, you got 1.6 million people to a website, you only have 15,000, what a failure. There are now 1.6 million people who feel good about our company, feel good about the person who referred them. They know us now, they like us now, they trust us now. If I'm an agent, I am telling everyone I know, hey, if you know anybody looking to get into real estate, I can help them. A, there's profit share opportunities in our company. B, you will build a massive database like we have of 1.6 million people who know us, like us, and trust us.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, that's awesome. So ties back to culture.
Yep.
So I have just two fun ones. They
Okay.
have nothing.
Oh, here we go.
They have nothing to
Steak,
do with real
Stony
estate.
River Steak in St. Louis, Missouri. Best steak I've ever had.
I love it.
Coffee cured, 9 ounces.
Great.
Medium rare.
I love what you did there.
Oh, you didn't ask. Got it. Okay.
But hey, that fits my other brand, Durno Eats. That's good to know.
Yeah, that's he's like a
Kansas City barbecue is the best barbecue on the planet. Sorry, Austin.
Ooh.
wow.
I would love to have another discussion
Gates
with
and
you on
Sons,
that.
Oklahoma
I love
Joe's,
barbecue.
Fiorella's Jack Stack,
He's like
Arthur Bryant's. It's amazing.
we both have done well. Darnell much better than I have, or statistically, but we've both done well at creating relationships through KW, young professionals. And one of his things, how I met him is I went to Knoxville for a YP event, and they were like, "You have to meet this guy, Darnell. He'll know all the spots you have to go to. He's got a hashtag in YP world that's like Darnell Eats."
Yeah, they're pretty much everything now.
Darnell
people just tag me and
podcast
stuff, or they go to cities that they know I've been to. They're like, "Hey, I'm gonna be in this city.
Yeah, like,
where
where do we
should
go?"
I go eat?"
I love it.
And it mostly started during the pandemic because I finally went to go speak to my office team leader / PC coach at the time, and before we met, I'm like, oh man, I'm finally ready to like get coaching. I was like 4 years in the business.
Yeah.
I felt like I didn't need coaching. So before we met, I signed up for like Vulcan 7, and I'm like, hey, I got these visible scripts and expires. I'm going to do this or that. And they're like, why would you do that? Like, let's see where your business comes from.
Agent to agent
And
referrals.
doubled down on it, and I realized everything was coming from social media. And it all started as a mistake. A friend of a friend would comment on my posts, hashtag Darnell Eats or Darnell Bikes. And during the pandemic, we had nothing but time. So I literally sat at home. I bought a smoker the first month of the pandemic, and I would literally every week just make the most ridiculous recipes that would take
And business
a day.
comes from it.
And
Pick a niche and do it.
and
Oh
it
my
put me in front of
goodness.
People like to see what other people are doing, and that's when I just started doubling down. When I started noticing my business literally came from like my food.
Darnell
videos
Eats.
It's awesome.
What were the questions that you were going to ask him?
They're silly questions, song lyrics. I just wanted to know because I'm going to do a reel later in the year. I'm going to collect these.
Am I making up the lyrics?
No, I'm going to give you two different song lyrics. I'm going to see if you know what they are.
Okay.
You might have seen these online already.
No.
The first one is going to be Sim Simma.
I don't know it either.
I don't know that one.
Who's got the keys to my Bimmer?
Sim
You don't
Simma.
know that? We'll know
No.
that. That's a
I'm
popular
from a different
one.
generation.
What the heck?
Okay.
I missed that one.
I'm embarrassed for you.
You guys are the same generation.
You got the keys to my bedroom.
We'll sing you that song.
I don't even know it.
Wow, I thought you
I'm-
would know.
Maybe
I'm a
maybe
child.
You're just not singing it
He's
right.
not saying
I think
it's- Do it well.
It's a who got the keys to my Beamer? Who am I?
That's a 90s song. That's an early 90s song.
I wasn't born yet.
I forget. Shaggy? Who?
Beanie Man.
Okay, what's the next one?
We'll do a Drake one. Maybe you know it.
Oh, you already gave it away by it being Drake.
It's okay. So,
Okay.
Last name ever.
Oh my gosh. Last name ever. I don't know.
Juliana.
First name greatest.
Yes.
Oh, dang it. I did know that one.
Wait,
I didn't know it. I knew.
Different tangent.
Dang, great.
Did I hear that
I
you?
started at the bottom, now I'm here. I knew that. I thought-
Oh, that's a good one. That's a good one.
That's my theme of my life.
Yes.
Did I hear that you and Jason were looking for second homes in South Florida? Because I do know.
We can't find any good realtors.
Well, I know this one guy, Darnell Ponce. He gets a lot of off-market deals.
Oh, I like that. Yeah, Jason, I think he might have just bought something, but yeah, we're always looking for good deals.
Nice.
Always looking for good deals. So
Definitely.
Jason's known for just going to different random markets and making offers on things. He is.
Yeah.
I have to tell you, one of the highlights of my life is getting to work with that man. He is super fun to work with. He is always energetic. I think he's the second smartest person in real estate behind Gary Keller. And he's like my little brother in a weird way. And it's just so much fun getting to work with him. I can't even describe it.
He gives little brother vibes with the wittiness.
Yeah,
You know?
he's extremely witty, extremely quick. And that brings me to, he's not a millennial. He likes to say he is. He's not. But that brings me to anybody who's in KWYP. We need KWYP to rock the nation. Why? Because this is our next generation of leadership. And I'm really concerned. You asked about leadership earlier.
We're the current generation.
I'm seeing the leadership fade in this industry. And I'm talking at all levels. And we need people to rise up and lead. And you find great leaders during tough times. And so we're watching for that next generation of leaders to go take over this industry.
Speaking of next generation of leaders, next June, May 31st to June 2nd,
Yes.
YP National Summit in Philadelphia.
Oh, yeah, in Philly in the summer, that'd be fun.
Do you think that you would speak at it?
I would love to do that as long as I can have fun with Philly fans and they won't throw anything at me. Last time I was there, we had some I'm from Kansas City, so we had some Eagles Chiefs things going on.
But we also are big like Kelsey brother lovers.
That's
so
true. That's my only saving grace.
Yeah.
If I wear a Kelsey jersey, I'm good.
There's actually a Chiefs bar in South Philly.
Now we need to go back to the song lyric thing because this is really bothering. You picked two random songs that I didn't know, but if I gave you some song lyrics, what would I start?
Let's do it. Go for it.
Yeah, do it.
That's tough.
Just off the cuff? Wow.
Yeah. How about? I can't give you an easy one.
You can.
I
I give you what I thought two easy ones were.
I didn't think the first
I had
one.
Material Girl in my head. I can't do that one.
You know, I recently bought a game 3 weeks ago, right before Mega Camp. It's called Lyrically Correct.
Oh,
And-
we should play it.
And I didn't bring them with me, but basically that's what it is. So they'll name a lyric, or they'll say, they'll ask a question. So what time does Snoop Dogg leave his house, or whatever it is? And you have to know what comes after that.
What's the song? What's the lyric? I'm king of. Oh my gosh, I'm getting it wrong.
You have to know the lyric.
Looking back.
Gives us the lyrics, that's the lyrics.
Yeah. Looking back on the memory of
Yesterday? I don't know.
the dance we shared.
Who is that?
Garth Brooks.
Nice. Give me another one.
Okay.
Give us another one.
You want another one? We could do.
This would be like a popular song.
Yeah. Well, Garth Brooks not popular. It's best-selling.
He's pretty popular.
I can't believe that.
Until you did the Chris Gaines thing, that was a little weird. But by the way, that's great trivia. You want to stump somebody, you can play them a song of Chris Gaines and say this is one of the best-selling artists of all times, and they'll never get it because anyway.
Nobody knows.
Yeah. So how about Mekhi Phifer?
You want me to finish it?
Sure.
Mekhi Phifer.
I know this one.
Damn it. It's on the tip of my tongue. Eminem, 8 Mile.
There you go. But that's
Lose
not enough.
yourself.
That's not enough.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
know.
I don't know the next line either.
Mom
but-
Spaghetti, he's nervous, but on the surface he looks calm and ready to drop
Oh.
bombs. I'm
Yeah.
forgetting. We wrote down, the whole crowd goes so loud, he opens his mouth, but the words won't come out. He's joking now. Fox ran out, time's up, over blouse, not back to reality. Up there goes gravity, joking.
Thank you for...
Hey!
That's great.